Today we're holding another confirmation hearing. We do this a lot, so it can seem routine, but it's not. I want to tell a story about why it's so important that this committee thoroughly vet all nominees. Yesterday afternoon, we received the welcome news that Rachael Rollins, a radical pro-criminal Soros prosecutor, is resigning in disgrace from her perch as the U.S. Attorney in Massachusetts. Over 18 months ago, my colleagues and I warned that Rollins was unfit to serve as a U.S. Attorney. My Democrat colleagues refused to listen, and every single one voted to confirm her nomination on a party line vote. It was the first time in 28 years that we'd held a roll call vote on a U.S. Attorney nomination. The last time was in 1993 when Janet Napolitano earned a roll call vote for her role in smearing Justice Clarence Thomas, which this committee continues to do to this day, this afternoon even. This vote was a rare case, of course, but Rollins was uniquely unqualified. Her opposition was neither partisan nor reactionary. During the same session on this committee, we deadlocked on her nomination. We also voice voted another 8 U.S. Attorney nominees. Rollins' record, however, was different. Professionally, she openly said her goal as a prosecutor was to dismantle the criminal justice system from the inside. She also described the U.S. criminal justice system as, and this is a quote, a cruel and oppressive force of injustice. As a district attorney, she refused to allow her prosecutors to enforce laws against fentanyl trafficking, breaking and entering, resisting arrest, or malicious destruction of property, among other crimes. But her problems were not limited to her abysmal professional record. Rollins' temperament and judgment was also in question. We learned of a curious case of road rage where Rollins forced another vehicle out of the merge lane, threatened the driver, and turned on sirens that, for some reason, she had in her car before she sped off through a red light. When a local news crew asked her about the incident, Rollins threatened the news crew as well, saying, and this is a quote, "I'll call the police on you and make an allegation, and we'll see how that works with you." Rollins' record was clear at the time. She thought the rules didn't apply to her. Law enforcement as a weapon against anyone who questioned her, and any criticism of her record was racist. My colleagues ignored those red flags, and every Democrat voted in lockstep for her. Before long, Rollins used her newly confirmed position as federal prosecutor for her own personal and political benefit, violating numerous laws. She even improperly accepted and failed to disclose gifts of lavish travel from groups where she had no personal connection. I referred Rollins for an investigation by the Department of Justice Inspector General, and just minutes ago, the Inspector General released a damning report. Over 150 pages of findings of wrongdoing. Just a short sampling. Rollins used the office to launch a bogus investigation and then leaked it to the press to influence a district attorney election. Rollins used the office to get free tickets to the Boston Celtics. Rollins repeatedly lied to the Inspector General during the investigation. It's no surprise that someone who refused to enforce the law also refused to abide by it. Rollins is now running out of office one step ahead of the sheriff. Good riddance. To the nominees here today, you're nominated to lifetime appointments, so the stakes are even higher. I'll submit questions to both of you in writing, and I would respectfully request that you submit your answers promptly. To other Biden officials, including at the highest levels of the Department of Justice who continue to similarly abuse their positions, accountability will be coming for you too. I'll also note the Inspector General referred Rollins to the Department of Justice for a criminal investigation, and yet again, the politicized Biden Department of Justice refused to investigate its own political cronies, declining prosecution of a woman who repeatedly lied to the Inspector General. And in the meantime, including this past week, my Democratic colleagues continue to force radical nominees through on party line votes. I hope that this humiliating episode of support for the disgraced Rachael Rollins will give my Democratic colleagues a change of heart, and they'll begin taking their role in vetting Joe Biden's nominees a little more seriously.